What was the question? What was the question, darling?
Okay, so I asked everybody to look at this as a system because Ali posted she premised this conversation on a thought provoking, very solid discussion. A man is supposed to be a leader and he comes up short. And when can a woman pull the trigger and say, "Oh, I'm out"? And we talked about some cases, some instances that where it kind of made sense, and and that was on the side of the law of the land. It wasn't really on the religious side. You know what I'm saying? So it was a deviation. So my question after that was, okay, let's say that's the case every time, because men and women can be on their representative, and I think M. White said up to 2 years in the marriage, in the relationship, and they become authentic later, and then you really see what you're dealing with. What I'm saying is, let's say you get to a point in every relationship you get into, you're gonna get to a point where you don't like what's going on, or this man's leadership, he fails at his leadership. You leave him, you go to the next man. It gets to another point where he fails at his leadership. I'm saying, is that an effective way to move?
Hell no.
Right.
No.
So
No,
now
because you're gaining more trauma with each person you're attaching yourself to. You're growing in more, and you're growing more intolerable of people, right? Of the opposite sex with each person in each failed relationship. You're getting more miles on your body. It's so many negative things. You're wasting time. Time is ticking and passing. You're intertwining your lives that should not be intertwined,
multiple
especially
children.
if children are involved, right? In-laws are involved.
Right.
So then the emotions of those in-laws are involved. And so you're doing that over and over and over again. You think you're going to come out unscathed? You think you're going to come out clean and not full of trauma and mental issues from having these soul ties with all of these people and all of these experiences in your head? And then comparison will creep in from what you experienced with the last person. Then you're going to compare that to the next person. That's why I think people are supposed to marry early. They're not supposed to experience all of this trauma and wasting time with person after person after person after person after person after person. And then you look up and you're like, why isn't it working with anybody? Because the main problem could be you at that point.
Well, okay. So that's the other side of the second side of it. And now that we understand that that's not an effective way to move, and the couple should just stay together because that's a better option. The second part of it, to just amplify that, is if a man is to be a leader and he fails, and a woman is supposed to be a helpmeet, if he fails and she wants to leave, what percentage of the onus goes on her as a helpmeet if she's reached a point of failure where she can no longer help him? Because I would say if a woman is supposed to be a helpmeet and she reached a point where she can no longer help her, that's her failing to be a helpmeet as well, right? So it shouldn't be a man failed. It should be y'all both failed, right? That sound better.
Perfect example on social
You
media.
failed, and I didn't show up whenever you failed.
The perfect example is Kim Zolciak and what she did to that man. I don't know if y'all seen the footage of them fighting this week over their home. Is blaming the man for the failure of two people is not, I don't understand it. And in the comments, I think a lot of people understood. They're like, it's not him. He's a shell of who he used to be because she came into his life, because she came into the picture.
But let me ask you this case before you go on.
She failed as a wife.
Let me ask you the case. So let's just say I failed. Let's just say I failed it. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no money. We broke. We got to get evicted. I don't know where the fuck we gonna go. You pissed. In ass words, I'm pissed. I might have to go live somewhere. You want to lead a marriage? Isn't there another option of where does she feel like what is going through y'all mind where y'all can't feel like y'all can't help out at that point? Y'all are no longer able to help us at that point.
No, I don't.
At that point, I think that's at the peak of when everything it just goes away. That y'all feel like I can no longer be of service to this man. Like, wow.
No, I don't agree with that. That's the purpose of being a helpmate. That's helpmate.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you gotta get
so much shit a woman can do at that point. Like, damn, I can be Superwoman right now and turn this shit around. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I gotta do to be able to bring us back. Like, what happened to that?
You know what's funny? The marriages that I saw that stood the test of time, those I've seen them go through that. I've seen marriages where my auntie and uncle had to come stay with us because shit hit the fan. I've seen, you know what I mean, family members that had to go live with friends, you know what I mean, because shit hit the fan. Those are the marriages that stood the test of time. And yes, to Casey's point, they bounce back. You may not bounce all the way back to where you were before you had it, but you bounce back to where you're at least managing, where it's manageable.
Man, Sweeney, some people bounce back better than they were before, stronger, better, richer, and everything. So some of that stuff, sometimes it's just growing pains. Sometimes it's just two people getting on the same page and figuring out where are we going financially, what do we need to plan out. And that may have been the need, that the valley that needed to happen to get them and catapult them to success as a family financially.
Sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. There's a lot of people I've known that just bit off. Your income don't match what you bit off. You went out there and got the Wagyu steak, and your pocket said porterhouse. And it is what it is. Y'all wind up having to wash dishes because you couldn't afford the Wagyu steak. Next time you bought the porterhouse, now y'all good.
Let me just give everybody that's listening something the big homie told me a long time ago, and I tried to utilize this, and it's helped me a whole lot. He said, "Don't buy something you can't buy twice. Just utilize that in your life. Like if you got 100K and it costs, you know what I'm saying, 100K, you gotta wait. You can't afford it. If you got $1,000 and the meal costs 500, that's a luxury expense. You can't afford it. You gotta be able to say no. Like that's part of like the example you was given earlier about getting 600K in debt. If he got 600K in debt based off of business ventures, that makes sense. But if he got 600K in debt based off of lifestyle, that's terrible leadership. You didn't prioritize the safety and security of the family, and you were trying to make sure this woman felt accustomed to a lifestyle that she wanted. That's a failure on your behalf to set a boundary. Like, hey, this is what I make. This is how much we can spend. This is the lifestyle I can provide. That's also why you shouldn't be jumping out the window on first and second dates trying to impress somebody with finances, because you cannot maintain those things. And that's going to be the thing that really throw the women off in the long run, because she going to say, what happened? You used to do this for me. And you was like, shit, I only did that in the beginning to get you because, shit, I know that's what you wanted. I can't keep that shit up.
Yeah, no, Marcus. His story was basically all business venture, tech business ventures. It had nothing to do with like lifestyle investments.